Hello everybody, it is Marie. Happy Monday. I'm late to getting to this, I know, but what a turd. Okay, so I'm here to talk about episode 11, season 3, and just like that, the penultimate episode to the entire shit series. It's been like watching a slow-moving car wreck that has become less relevant and more stupid over time. And maybe perhaps I will come and do some compilation videos to capture like what I think are the stupidest moments of this series that should have never happened, although the hate watching has been joyful, especially the first season of hate watching. I will give it that. But it is just a drift off to nowhere. And once again, Michael Patrick King and Sarah Jessica Parker are lying. I hate using the phrase gaslighting. Well, no, they're just lying. They're not gaslighting, but they're bullshitting. They announced after the 10th episode that this was going to be the final 2 and that they weren't going to tell us that it was going to be a 2-part final episode, episode 11, episode 12. Would be 2-part final overall for the series, and that they knew that it was going to happen, but they didn't want to tell us as to not spoil the fun. Meanwhile, whenever they advertise these shows, it says season finale, not series finale. And also, the way this show was written, you can tell they are absolutely full of shit. And after the 11th episode aired, all of a sudden these reports come out that Sarah Jessica Parker feels that HBO Max, or whatever they're calling themselves this week, has pulled the rug out from under her, that she was very shocked and dismayed, and that she's actually going to like Prime, Amazon, Netflix, these other streamers, to try to sell this to other people. God help her if she does this. So I'll probably put up some compilations just to show, I think, they're stupid as writing. So hopefully that never happens. And, yeah, but they're lying and they're oh no, we planned it. Of course they did not, because if this was the last 2 episodes of your sacred franchise since the late 90s, you're really going to give us this? This was a nothing episode, and it wasn't even 30 minutes long. The last few episodes they've had, this was a 45-minute show. They made it a 45. Nobody was asking for 45-minute Sex in the City, but they decided a series, 45 minutes. And this last season, they couldn't even give us like they can't even give us a half hour. Like, these are going to be short episodes. If this was going to be your grand finale, if this was going to be what you wanted us to remember these characters by, you would not have given us this absolute go-nowhere slop. That's just, at worst, it kind of threatens to just take these women back to where they've always been. And it's nowhere. It's nowhere. It's nothing writing. It's so pointless. It's just an exercise for these actresses and Michael Patrick King to get together and enjoy each other's company. And, they can do that without dragging us into it. They can do that without, wrecking these characters. They can go have a nice lunch. They can go hang out at Michael Patrick King's house and have a good laugh. I'm sure one of them has a thing on the Hamptons. They can have a nice private party and enjoy themselves without dragging all of their fans down into the mud with this absolute garbage episode. So, I will also want to say that before I get into this, that this upcoming Thursday night, the final episode, I'm going to again put the link down there for Mike Harlow's Locals. It's worth the $5 just to watch this episode. And of course, Halloween's coming. He's a huge commenter on horror films. He's the horror film super fan. So if you want to keep watching that stuff, we're also going to look into other things maybe to do shows on. But if it's just $5 a month, just for this show, I think it'll be worth it. And there's going to be like an extra episode with him, Sage, and Megan Fox, the real Megan Fox, the reporter. I think we're all going to do something on YouTube, not just on Locals, but on YouTube on Monday night. When I get details, I'll add that. to my comments. But this is going to be kind of a celebration that goes on for a while. We're going to be dressed in our sad morning attire. I'll probably break out the wig. But yeah, Thursday night we're going to do the live stream as it airs, and then probably Monday a little follow-up. So just keep your eyes out for all this stuff. Alright, so this crapper of an episode. So we start off, and Carrie is ordering 700,000 pies. You know, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. She's planning for Miranda's. Miranda's having Thanksgiving at her house. And this is going to require 2 pies of every possible flavor for the, you know, probably 12 people that were invited. Stupid crazy. And all these women are like, oh my gosh, can you order these pies? I was told we weren't allowed to. And then the shop owner, and I forget, this is an actress who's in, I love her in Only Murders in the Building, but everybody else seems to know who this person is. I don't. I just know her iconic face, to the point that I was wondering if she'd been in the Sex and the City universe before. Apparently not, but she goes on this long speech about how Carrie has done everything to support her pie business, even during the pandemic, and all this stuff. So, of course, this pie shop is by her old house, or her, I'm sorry, old apartment or whatever, where Lizette now lives. So she goes and she walks past the apartment, and Lizette happens to be coming out and invites Carrie to, you know, a party that she's having on the Monday of Thanksgiving. Now, understand, the whole lecture that this pie woman gives is just another long exposition to remind us not to hate Carrie. Carrie has good qualities. You got to hear this from other people. Carrie's such a fabulous person because she orders a million pies. Look at Carrie. She ain't never ordered a pie in her life. Give me a break. But okay. But she runs into Lizette. Lizette asks her, hey, come on over. I've been, you know, working on this place, and, you know, it'll be fun. Come have a nice little cocktail with us Monday before Thanksgiving. Carrie says, yes, of course. And then it cuts over to the Goldenblatt's house, where we see Charlotte and Harry setting the table for dinner. I guess they only do formal dinners at their house. I don't know. It seems like a lot of work. But they're talking about Thanksgiving. Harry wants to have a private Thanksgiving with the family at home because Charlotte knows how to cook. And he's afraid Thanksgiving at Miranda's is all about, she uses white bread in her stuffing and plays NPR. Because, of course, she does. Harry nails it. Congrats for one good joke. And then Rock comes out of the closet. No, I'm kidding. Out of theirs, whatever, bedroom. And Rock is wearing a whole costume for Thoroughly Modern Millie. I'm not that familiar with this Broadway play. But she looks gorgeous. She's got, you know, the flapper dress on, red flapper dress, full makeup, got the cute bob, you know, curly haircut, and she looks like a woman. She probably is. The actors that play these kids are all in their, like, late 20s, early 30s. It's very 90210, so it wouldn't surprise me if the actress that plays Rock is 28. But definitely looking like a beautiful woman coming down the hall. And of course, Charlotte is really digging this and just in awe of her daughter. And then we get this really weird scene with Anthony buying Giuseppe's clothes like he's his friggin' mom and telling him what color to wear. And Giuseppe's wearing a perfectly nice eggplant sweater, but apparently that color is all wrong. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody do wrong with a dark purple, but apparently it's all wrong for Giuseppe, who also looks good in pretty much anything, because he's Giuseppe. And Giuseppe decides to take this time to kneel and propose to Anthony in a fitting room. Big fail. I mean, I think the gays could probably do proposals better. A fitting room proposal, really, Giuseppe? But, you know, Anthony says yes. And, you know, we're supposed to be super happy, I guess. Then Carrie goes back to her publisher, who's reading the manuscript for her latest novel about the woman, because they can't even have the creativity to come up with a name for this horrible, horrible protagonist of what is probably going to be the most terrible book ever written. It was wonderful, it was wonderful, it was wonderful. If you know, you know, you know. And the publisher is just like, oh my god, the most amazing book ever. I can't wait. This is amazing. I just need the last chapter. And Carrie's like, I gave you the last chapter. You just read it. And she's like, oh, no, there's no, like, real ending here. There's no happy ending. She's just, you know, having tea in her garden. That's not an ending, honey. Like, you got to do something for it. I guess they're hinting at, you know, the show not having an ending. It really didn't have much of a beginning anyway. There's just nowheresville of just vagueness and misery. And so then they give us a scene we're clearly supposed to ooh and ah about. Carrie has finally decorated her house, and she has Charlotte Miranda hanging out there. And this is the most ridiculously decorated place ever. I mean, for real, every piece of furniture is like completely different and looks like it belongs in a completely different house or building. She's got, like, you know, velvet little chairs here, and then a purple folding chair, and then this weird, like, light blue booth thing. I don't know. It's weird. And she's sitting around now. She's got these different, like, glasses, like these antique cocktail glasses and like flutes and or coupe glasses that look, they're beautiful. And I like the mix match glassware, but the mix match furniture everywhere else is just ridiculous. She's wearing this t-shirt that's somehow tied up in the back by her neck around this skirt. And it looks kind of like a weird scene. And it took me a minute to realize, oh, they're in Carrie's house. I'm like, what is this weird place? It took me a minute when I saw this. Like, oh, that's her house. She did some weird shit with her living room. And just went to a thrift store, got a bunch of different whatever was there for like $10, and just stuck it there. And we're gonna ooh and ah over her wonderful design aesthetic, of course. And what's funny is when you listen to the writers' room talk about this scene, they're like, "Oh, I'm obsessed with this scene. Just how comfortable Carrie looks. She just looks so comfortable in her own house." Seriously, can you imagine any other show? Where the writers, like, are so in awe of their character being comfortable in their house? Like, oh my gosh, when Chandler Bing just sat in that lazy boy, look at how comfortable he looked. Like, they're just so proud of the most minor accomplishments ever. Of course she's comfortable in her own home. Why wouldn't she be? So the bar is so low. The bar is underground. The bar is way under our feet. It is just embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for these people, honestly. Then we get a scene with Seema and Adam. They're having fun. They're in the shower. They're playing around. And Adam asks Seema to go to his sister's house for Thanksgiving. It's a vegan Thanksgiving, so it's tofurkey. And I think Adam, if memory serves, said that he loves Seema, whatever. But Seema is not looking forward to a tofurkey Thanksgiving, you know, because of course she isn't. But, you know, they're in the shower, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about either of them? I don't. Moving on. Oh, now everybody's returned to go see, not return, but they go to the school theater or some theater to go see this thoroughly modern Millie. To go watch Rock and LTW's Broadway baby, to go perform in this play. Carrie shows up. First person she runs into is Anthony, who is immediately telling her how much he regrets having second thoughts, saying yes to Giuseppe, but he was down on his knee, and, you know, what could he do? The guy you love, you know, proposes, you say yes, and Carrie can totally understand. Relates to her story of Aiden when he got down on the knee in the street and a dog. Like, you just say yes, so she gets it. And he's like, I don't know if he wants to marry me or if he wants me to marry him or mommy him, but I'm doing all the cooking and cleaning and I'm raising a little boy, you know, well-hung 29-year-old baby. All right, and as soon as he's done with that, Charlotte enters with Mark Kasabian again. What's that, Victor Gerber guy or whatever that was in Legally Blonde and Titanic? He's everywhere. But yeah, apparently this important character. So again, you get the sense that they're setting something up for a whole fourth season. Maybe this is supposed to be Carrie's love of her life, but you know, he's that gallery owner or you know, I think he's like, yeah, is he the gallery owner? Yeah, or some sort of art guy that Charlotte knows. He was there for that whole LTW's dad, Billy, what's his name? I'm Billy Jean. I forget the guy's name, darn it. But, you know, when LTW had her dinner, he was there. He was tempting Charlotte to get back into working at a gallery anyway, so I think he's the gallery owner. Anywho, he's making implications. He has a daughter. That's why he's there, to watch his daughter pull the curtain, and he's been engaged. He's like, oh, engagements are the best part. Like he's been married quite a few times. Yeah, it kind of gives you that impression. I don't know why we need to know all this and all this exposition. I guess, again, probably for a 4th season they were planning to have with this guy, and I don't think any of that's necessary. No one's looking for this guy or any of this. But then they go into the theater, and we see LTW just dressed horribly. I don't know why. I kind of believe that they really hate this Nicole Ari Parker woman who plays LTW. She is so gorgeous, and they just put her in the shittiest wigs and the dumbest outfit. She's wearing this really stupid hat that nobody should ever wear in a theater, blocks everybody's view, and she's sitting there, and Herbert's all butthurt that his own son gets lead of the play, the lead male role in the play, while he didn't win comptroller. So Herbert's just a butthurt old crumper, pooper, whatever. He lost this comptroller race, so now he's all depressed and making everybody's life miserable. Then, of course, we get to see Rock perform, and I mean, it's okay. I'm kind of interested in maybe seeing this play. Mike was telling me that Julie Andrews' version of this, the movie, is really good, so I'm going to check that out. Then we get another scene of Herbert and LTW in their home. LTW's on her way to work now. They've finally given her like a good wig. She looks pretty around the face. They gave her a nice wig that's like curled and it looks flattering. But she's in the dumbest outfit. So many layers, so many colors. Like a yellow vinyl corset and then all these different silk colors. It's bizarre. And Herbert's just sort of casually sitting in the window, working from home. She's like, you're working at home from again? Yeah, I don't want to see all the sights in my office, all the people looking at me like I'm a big loser. I can't take it anymore. And she's like, I've never been more proud of you, proud that you're my husband. And he's like, don't do that. Just please go to work. So Herbert's being a butt. So I'm assuming probably next episode, the finale, LTW's gonna at least hit on her coworker. Her editor probably doesn't even like her that much, honestly. And then we go into a nice scene where, Charlotte is alone with Harry in their little twin bed that they share, and rolling around, and he really wants to have Thanksgiving at home. She's having a really hard time saying no to Miranda, because Miranda never hosts Thanksgiving. And Harry's just like, oh, when I thought I was dying of cancer, I thought if I can just make it to Thanksgiving, if I can just make it to Thanksgiving. And so that's why Thanksgiving's very important to him. They want to have it at his house. So, I mean, I think we're all going to notice that what's going to probably happen is everybody's going to have an excuse to ditch Miranda at her big Thanksgiving. I think that's the setup that they're preparing us for. Next, we cut to Miranda's house, where she is hanging out with Joy and Joy's 2 dogs, and they're sitting around the table. And Brady walks in. We have Ratatouille Chef, and he's the one that's cooking the turkey, too, which is why Miranda's Thanksgiving is a little bit more meaningful. Although, after seeing last week's episode, I don't think that he is ready to be a cook yet. Like, he's got some learning to do. Thankfully, he's going to college for it, because that meal he was serving up his parents did not look very delicious. But he comes in all mad because Miranda invited his baby mama Mia to Thanksgiving. She's like, well, yeah, I thought she'd say no, but yeah, she said yes, so we're gonna have her. And he's like, I'm not, why are you calling up some rando I got pregnant? Like, that's how he refers to his baby mama, how random person I got pregnant. There's so much wrong with that statement, my gosh. And Miranda is, and he's yelling at his mom in her house like this. And Miranda is just like, oh, you're upsetting Joy's dogs. And of course, Joy had, and Brady's like, oh, coming to Joy, back me up here. Back me up. Yeah, the lesbian's gonna take the side of a guy who just refers to the woman who's having his child as some random person he knocked up. He knows how to read a room. But Joy, I don't know. I don't know what the kids call these kind of people these days. The Spurge. I don't know. She's on some sort of spectrum, but she's like so weird and antisocial. Like Joy's a weirdo. She's like, I'm like allergic to family situations. She just like runs out of the room. Everybody, I can't root for anybody. Like, who am I supposed to root for these new characters, these new romantic interests, like Joy, when she hardly has any lines, and when she does, most of them are really incredibly stupid and antisocial, like somebody who's never been around human beings in her life, even though she's in the media? Am I supposed to care about Adam, this guy who spends weeks and weeks and weeks planting these basic bitch flowers because he doesn't like deodorant and wears shitty t-shirts? Like, the characteristics they gave these people beyond looks aren't much. They're not something to really wrap around, you know, to really pull at the old heartstrings. But, you know, if Miranda gets together with Joy, if they live happily ever after, if they break up forever, I don't care. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody's like, oh my god, I'm so rooting for Joy. Who cares about these people? They gave us so much nothing, and they're ending with so much nothing. So then Carrie is in a bar in a nice little outfit talking to Seema, who's in a weird little outfit, and they're just going on about Seema not wanting to go to this Thanksgiving thing, and Carrie's like, you're going to turn this nice invitation into a problem? Yes, Carrie, because that's all she does. That's all Seema does. Complain and self-sabotage, and everybody's a problem but her. We know. Seema also lets Carrie know that Duncan has moved permanently to England, and now that his basement apartment is now for sale, and so it would benefit Carrie to buy the entire house for better resale value, and it just makes more sense anyway. Carrie just doesn't know, and Carrie's on her way afterwards to the party over at her old apartment that Lizette had. So I'm like, oh god, we're going to be drugged back into this stupid apartment again, and we need this now. I mean, Sarah Jessica Parker is now in her 60s. We need her to be in the same apartment over and over her whole life. I mean, come on. I don't think anybody's mad that she's got a little property now. I know people get sentimentally attached to apartments and stuff, but at this point, it just seems weird. But she goes over to Lisette's apartment and enters it in. She's got certain areas walled up. Apparently, they have the apartment next door as well. They did what Aiden was always trying to do. She has a roommate, some dude that also lives in there. And they've sort of rearranged the whole place. It doesn't really look like Carrie's place anymore. They've gutted it and made it their own. And so it's more of a, you know, you can't go home type deal, which I was relieved by. I'm like, oh, if she comes back to this stupid apartment and tries to buy that off of Lizette again, it's like, what's going to be the story? Lizette conveniently has to leave town too. But thankfully, they spared us that bullshit. And so now it's clear that Carrie's not going to go back to this apartment, or if she does, at least it'll be bigger and remodeled. We'll see what stupid shit they come up with the next episode. And then Carrie just goes back to her apartment to write the last lines of her book, or start maybe one last chapter. I don't know. I'm not hopeful, guys. I'm not hopeful. I don't, you know, this should have gotten the attention it deserved. They should have planned, if they were going to make this a 12-episode season, which they haven't in the past. They haven't had 12 episodes in any of these. And just like that season, if they were planning to make this something really special, they should have known, right? I mean, the viewership has dropped so significantly from the first season to the second season, from the third season. They should have prepared. They should have prepared just in case we don't get this for a fourth season, which is what all logic would presume. Let's at least go off with some thoughtfulness, some dignity, a real story, a real love letter to send these beloved characters off with. Let's at least try to redeem ourselves a little. This is just so go nowhere. So nobody gives a crap. And we were having a good time last week going on Twitter or X or whatever you call, however it identifies this week, but clicking on the people who actually are praising the show, like, oh, I love it every week, I can't get enough, these are the best, I'm so involved in these characters, and I look forward to seeing the ladies every week. And you click on them, and they're just either obvious people who work for HBO Max or some sort of bot system that, you know, keeps replying, or they look like the weirdest, like, tropes or psychotic people that have to be bots. Like, there's this one chick, she had, like, you know, the literal purple hair, liberal look, and she has the dyed purple hair, and then her background art is, like, this flowery, like, butterflies that say, dead men don't rape. And I'm like, wow, that's an interesting thing. I think I'll get that as my next tattoo. But it has, like, all these butterflies and pretty pictures around it. Like, okay. And that's who's really loving this show. It's weird. It's a bizarre, the true fan base, the people that really love the show, that enjoy it, and if you actually, like, click on their profiles, you'll see some weird shit. That's a nice little game I propose for you. In the meantime, join us on Mike Carlo's Locals. Like I said, he's very cheap. Yeah, I don't want to call him cheap. He's a lovely guy, but yes, his channel is very affordable. Go there, just even for the night. I think he'll see that he has a lot of really great content, especially coming around through Halloween. But watch us, join us. I'd love to hear you guys' comments in real time, or at least see them on the screen. It's a lot of fun. And I will see you extensively next week. Keep your eye on this video for, I don't require you guys to like or subscribe my stuff. I don't, because I'm a resume writer, and I'm not going to be doing other things like this. You know, this whole thing was just a reaction to how much I loved Sex and the City. So I don't need all of that. But if you're interested in all the stuff that's going to happen next week, please come back to this particular video. You might want to just like and you know, bookmark this particular video, because I'll update it with any kind of new information, any new updates, any, because I don't want to spend extra time making more videos just to promote the videos. You know what I'm saying? So bear with me, my amateurishness, and thank you for sticking with me. Hopefully this is the end of a long journey we have taken together, but this journey probably needs to end. I think it's the only dignified way for these characters. Until later this week, thank you guys.